Yeah, that was that from Sri Lanka. Local station. This is a recommendation for listening to Sri Lanka. You may have heard it before, but we do it again and again. You see, sometimes we mind the listeners, sometimes we don't really mind. Because listeners are in their own mind, their own best. They claim, they demand, and so on. I'm not into those demands. I'm not into those claims. I want to stay true to the course. What is the course? What is the course? It's a good start. What is the course? What is the course? We have to make some topics in order to know what the talk should be about. We should make topics. What is the course? I think I wrote it wrongly. Hva kursen? I don't know whether you find this. Yeah, you have to wait. Sorry for that, my friends. Don't interrupt me. What is the course? What is the aim? What is my reasons for doing what I do? Someone may ask such a question, but we never know. Sometimes we know it, sometimes we don't. We just do it because we don't see any higher degree of sense to it. But you can go into some details. If we mind the world and the reality, everything, the atoms to the big things, what is the course? What is the how did it come to be? I think everything that we see is a reason for something. Either we believe in God or not, it has some reasoning to it. Sometimes we do. I have seen my life in some small sequences that you never know what that was about. That's a specific sequence. So it's therefore interesting in order to know something about those sequences that happen over a span of time. We can't know everything out of this particle, but this particle is in conjunction with other things. And if we see the universe, the space, we have to in some way, even it's so large that it can't fit into our coherent mind, how this speck of universe compared with other realms of reality fits in. So we are just part of something that is quite minute compared with the whole universe that we see. And maybe the universe too is just a part, a fragment of something larger. We can't determine, we can't speak for the extent of we can't talk about big or small, because everything in itself is quite big, is great, it's large. Look at the atom. We can't even see it, yet it creates something of an effect that is quite big. If we look at it in a broader picture that we can't see now, we can't see the atom because it is too, we are not created to see the atom. So when people are in denial of God, it's quite odd for me to grasp that claim that God doesn't exist, because it fits into something that, despite that, I really don't know. I have no clue. I have no clue. Was it Einstein that said something very brilliant, that now that I know a little bit more, I know more of how less I know, how much less I know. So it's just how much we know is just some kind of agreement that we are also limited. So to ask such a question, what is the course? I had to add some question mark here to it in order for it to be natural. What is the course? We can talk about different things apart from the environment, the society, the realm that this item is part of. This stone was part of something. You can see it. This stone is a crystal thing, dark smoke quartz, I think. It's a smoke quartz. It was in combination and attached to something bigger. So now we see just a fragment of this. We see just a fragment of it. But this pen, if we remove everything from its own self into the smallest pieces like this stone, we may not see the course of that. If we didn't know in the first place that this pen was a pen, we can it is functional. Now I can write. Now it is something hidden inside. So just by a twitch it exits. So that is some mind-blowing thing. that something in a conjunction, in a coexistence, have some functions. I have some written words. You can have a letter A, B, C, and that gives no sense. In the Hebrew letter, as a Hebrew letter, it will bring much sense. Yes, this only one letter. It stems from, it has its own root of understanding, of value. So that is how they are combining letters into words. By combining the understanding and the root of each and every letter. So a word in Hebrew or even in Norway have some internal meaning to it, but we can't take it out of context in the conjunction it exists. If we take it out of conjunction, if we remove it from the environment, it doesn't serve this purpose. So the course of each and every letter is to be in conjunction, is to be in alliance with its own understanding of what the meaning of each and every letter means. In English or Norwegian or any other language, you don't have the same. In Chinese maybe, but I'm not good in such foreign languages. Only Norwegian. And the letters in Norwegian gives no sense. A word maybe, yes, because the letters are in a combination. But each letter for itself, yes, this alphabet, it's just nothing more. And that in itself is just a basement for use of different letters. You see, we can go into the smallest details and we don't really see the course, the track, the intentions of those items, those removed items from its own habitat. We can't take one thing and argue the polar opposite of its own track, of its own coexistence. That bears no logic. But that is what the leftists are doing. They take something out of a conjunction and they argument for the polar opposite case. That's their way of doing it. They have no decency regarding such. It's an interesting topic. What is the course? The course of everything. What is the idea of everything? That can gives meaning and sense to something that we understand to be meaningful, to have value, to give a broader understanding and basics for things to be understood. You see, it is sometimes hard to be alone, because we can't see ourselves in a conjunction with other people. You have societies that are including other different individuals. That is not so common today when the Jewish are excluded. I recently heard an interview with a Jewish lady here in Norway. She was afraid because in some way the Jews in our country have been removed from the security. People get vomiting sick to my stomach of how they regard decency and respect to other people that they differ and are disagreeing on with. And as a Jew, she was a moderate party. I don't believe she condoned the Netanyahu party. But I will say that in that regard she was a little bit naive, because I think any Jew would try to distance themselves from the government in Israel now that they are so hated and are afraid of being dragged in to this coexisting and definition that Israel is an apartheid state, it is a terrorist state, and so on. In fact, that is a borrowed word from the terrorists themselves that should be regarded as terrorists, but they are using the human shield as a cover-up for their atrocities, their acts of violence and their acts of genocide. In fact, to say that Israel is a terror state is just the words from the terrorists themselves. And they are brilliant in covering it up with words that you can't really dispute, because the first time you dispute it, you hear that, will you deny the suffering of Gaza's people? Now you are in a conjunction with this kind of horrendous thing that you call genocide on Palestinians. But you wouldn't go into that area for your own decency's sake. You wouldn't go into that part of a debate that either you defend Israel, then you are a slaughter, defend of a slaughter. So I think that the Jews in Western Europe and America too have this ambivalence of the political parties and the right-wing party in Israel to be extreme. But I see it differently. But that is just a rhetoric of the debate. It is not a rejection of the Jewish right, whoever he or she may be, to exist in a safe environment. So that the society have bought these lies and have no self-respect of going down the pit of Jew haters, Israel haters. You see, things are in a conjunction. Sometimes we lie about conjunctions. Sometimes we put something that is foreign to this idea of genocide. We put an entity into the idea of that is committing genocide. But the true fact is that it is the polar opposite. What Israel is made to be as a genocidal entity to the Palestinian is the polar opposite. It is the Hamas and Hezbollah entities that are put in Palestinians' mind to be genocidal against Israel and Jews. And nobody reflect. Part of how come, if Israel is what they claim to be, how come there are 2 million Arabs in Israel? That will never be answered. That will be avoided. An Arab Israeli citizen that have this ID of being an Israeli citizen will never complain like people from Gaza or from West Bank, or for that sake the United States students in Harvard. So, you see, to remove bits and pieces and replace them into different locations by just a kind of debate or in argument is just totally screwed up mind, and that is what the world is about today. We need, I think this proves one big point, that the Jewish scholars, they are talking about boycott universities in Israel and professors and lecturers in Israel. I think maybe that is going to work if the churches in Norway let the Hebrew people teach in our churches the moral, the Bible, and everything. Let us get some Kohanim, priests from the ancient Israel, into the churches of Norway. Let some true belongings. Why do we have the Bible if we are so hostile to Israel and to the Jews? Why do we still have the Bible? That is kind of an obvious question too. Why do we have the Bible? You see, the Bible now is foreign to the church. But the priests from the rabbis should be in our church and teach us the Bible. That is what I have to say. Now, the notion of being a Christian is that we are the spiritual Israel. But the Israel we see is just a physical entity. I will state the polar opposite. The physical entity of Israel is more spiritual than any church have been. Because in this physical Israel, the Spirit of God will be revealed. It belongs there as a breath in our mouth and lungs belong to us. So does the God of Israel belong in the people of Israel that can teach the whole world about God and connection with God, the healing of the world. Tikkun Olam. bits and pieces belong, but we have to reorganize. Now our brain is fragmented. People's mind are fragmented today into remote pieces. Where did the ideological entity go? Where did the moral go? Where is everything going? I would hope that we can call back people that are talking about peace. We want peace is lying. I would say they are straight out using words that will never stick in their own mind. If you can't have moral compass in such a case that Israel is defending its own population, and the soldiers are part of the population of Israel. There are no foreign soldiers in Israel that is not loving their own country and loving their own family. If that to defend Israel is wrong, and to pay homage to Hamas by giving them an entity of a country, that is so morally corrupt that there will be no good words for how corrupt and broken that kind of a moral is. So you see, the Western morality is fragmented. We have no idea of what is right and wrong. I would state that people have lost their way, have lost their soul. The fragmented is even more fragmented. Those that are fragmented, split, they are even more split because they can't figure out what is right and wrong. The leftists have done it. They did the groundwork. Now, the main people here in Norway are so in denial of moral compass. Even a statement that some of my that I know, I don't call them friends because it is too much distance, but everybody, I am a friend to everybody. So she said, yes, we should talk with Hamas. Like talking with ISIS will help. We knew their intentions. How fragmented, how moral destructed those people are that state such a thing. I can sit on my moral pedestal. It's just only the statements. I believe that people that say such a horrendous thing are decent. But their standard, moral standard, is totally perverted by Western media. Media and everything with it. You see, God is for the unity. And you can't have intrinsic parts that doesn't belong in this unity. You can't include in unity something that doesn't belong. Now our narrative or idea of unity is to exclude the Jews, but they belong in the midst of the unity. That makes it all right. Bits and parts of our mind is so fragmented that we can't see their placement, their place in our society. So we have to write our own, and I've been cleaning out and did my best.